Welcome back, everybody. Today we are working on a stihl 046 Magnum. Owner says it won't start. It's been sitting for a really long time, and he wants me to go through it, make sure everything's okay with it, and get it running off. Bar and chain off, and got it mounted in my saw vise. So let's get started. Air filter don't look too bad. Probably get him a new air filter, or maybe even try. All right, so it's a dual element. You got this little cotton-like outside element held on there with elastic, and then some kind of filter element behind that, backed up with metal. So we'll see if we can clean it. If not, we'll have to give him another one. See if I can move you around this way. Maybe I'll be in your way less. From what I can see, bottom side of the piston looks good, the best I can see from that direction, or that point of view. Let's go ahead and get this muffler pulled off, and see if everything behind that looks good. It does have pretty good compression. That don't always mean anything. 2 long screws on the bottom, 2 short screws on the top. It is a baffle style muffler, but it's actually a pretty cool baffle. So I can still see right down through there. And see the piston. Look right down in there, and there's the piston right there. So there's not a whole lot of restriction here. Could it be a little bit better? Drop this down a little bit further so it shoots straight out more instead of hitting here, ramping up. And then it's got to exit out through this side here. And that side is just that little tiny hole right there. And that kind of sucks, because it needs to breathe a lot better than that itty bitty hole. I can't even get my pinky through that. That might be a 3/8 hole, maybe. And it should be much larger. Yeah, I don't see a whole lot of carbon buildup in there either, so I'm not gonna worry about taking that off. So now I know that the cylinder and piston are in good mechanical condition. We can go ahead and start diagnosing on why it won't start according to the owner. So, and I think I will do a little something for him on this muffler, because there's no reason why the cylinder has a hole in it this big, and the muffler's got a tiny little hole in it that I can't even stick my pinky through. That doesn't make any sense to me. That'd be like putting 2-inch exhaust on a 572 motor. It ain't gonna be happy. The exhaust side of this cylinder looks good. I still see cross hatching, so I would say there's probably not a whole lot of run time on this saw. Top of the piston looks good. There's not a whole lot of carbon on it. All right, let's see if we get some spark. do something about that starter handle. Yep, I see spark. As long as we can get fuel to it, this thing will probably fire up and go. I'm gonna put some oil on the spark plug hole here. Lubricate things a little bit. I'm sure it hasn't been lubricated in quite a while. There we go. Right here, I want to take a look at this impulse line and make sure it's still in one piece. Appears to be, but let's poke at it a little bit. Get some of that crud off. Yeah, I think we're fine right now. All right, let's go and put our spark plug back in. We know we got spark. We know we have a good cylinder and piston. And as long as we can get fuel to it, there should be no reason why this thing wouldn't fire up and go. I pulled the side cover off here, the starter cover, and installed a new Briggs & Stratton starter handle. Fits in there nice and perfect. So far, from best I can see, pulse line looks okay. And you can see that's got the nice metal clamp on it like they all should have. So I think I'm going to drop a little bit of fuel down in here and give it a pull and see what happens. See if it'll pop off. So as you can see, right there, you see that? All you have to do on this one is squeeze the trigger. Once you squeeze the trigger, you can take and maybe need a screwdriver, maybe you don't. You can take a screwdriver and you lift up on that, and it will pop it right out of that trigger assembly. There you go. All right. So you squeeze the trigger and you pop it out. Now let's take and break this carb down so we can make sure that the guts and everything are in good shape. I'll start on the, I believe, the pump side. Yep. Pump side just as clean as can be. Oh man, that's nice and soft, pliable. Yeah, I'm just gonna put this back together. A lot of times I'll take and I'll use these types of jugs to separate stuff. Because as you can see, as it's starting to pour out, I got a belly here. So your water will sit in there and I just keep pouring until the water gets up to about here and get ready to pour out, then I stop. The rest of it gets thrown away. So I just saved and poured all that good fuel off and left the junk sitting in the bottom of the belly here and threw it away. Yeah, she tried to go then. There we go. You pull this thing, you better mean it. Nice. So you should restart. We'll bar this thing up. And if it quits raining, I'll take it over there and we'll put it in that stump. See what we got. Slinky in here. Cheech and Chong up in here. Got the chain catch straightened back out. I took the front cover off. This would simulate a more opened up exhaust. I've done this before on other saws. In some saws, you know, the idle shoots sky high, just like it did on that Ryobi. If you want to go back and check that video, Ryobi chainsaw, and you can see where I took the exhaust off, which is basically what I've done here, because this exhaust is pretty well opened up. It's not that bad. I've seen a lot worse. I can see the piston right there, right? You just have this piece here. But as soon as you put this cover on, right, it forces it to come out of that teeny tiny hole right there. Barely get your pinky in. You can't even get your pinky in there. So we're going to fire this thing up. And we're going to hear the difference. It's going to be a little louder. And it's probably going to be a lot more snappier. Definitely needed those. So, the first thing you notice was that the idle did jump up because there's no restrictions. There's, you know, it's not trying to squeeze the exhaust out of that tiny little hole. And then two, it was a lot more snappier on the throttle. So, doing a muffler mod only thing I would do on this one is just open that hole up even more. Try to get it to about 1/2 inch, 5/8, something like that. And this thing would breathe and perform a lot better. And would last longer because it wouldn't be holding heat in. So keep that kind of stuff in mind. If you ever buy a saw, you want it to last a long time, because a saw is it's an expensive investment. Especially when you get into your bigger saws. All right, guys. That's going to be it for this saw for right now. Once I finish putting everything back together and getting things cleaned up on it a bit, I'll bring you guys back when I go to put it in the wood, and we'll see how this thing performs. So this was the Stihl old school 46. It does run, and it runs good. I found very little wrong with it. Pretty much nothing wrong with it, really. So hopefully this will help you one day. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. If so, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, send me some comments, let me know what you think. Be kind and help people when you can.